Alright, welcome to round 7 of the AMS2 Community Cup. Tonight we're racing these Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeos around Road Atlanta. It's going to be a spicy evening of qualifying and racing. It's a 5-minute private qualifying session, so it's going to be pretty well do or die as far as like making sure you get a good lap. And then it's a 60-minute race. But the race has a lot in store for these drivers. So there's 3 weather slots in this race. It's going to start off dry, but it's overcast. But the track's going to be wet / soaked when the race starts. So that's going to be interesting because people will be looking to start on different compounds. Could be quite spicy, something to look out for. And then it will start raining after once slot 2 kicks in, and then it'll clear up to light cloud for the end of the race. Looking like it's probably going to be around about 40 laps. There's going to be several strategy options. It's going to be really tough to keep an eye on top of what's going on with who and where they are on track and pitting and whatnot, and who's starting on what tyre. It's going to be tricky. Drivers to watch tonight, obviously Jake Birkenhead. Looking at the team standings there, we've got MVRC, they're pretty well locked in for first place in the Community Cup. In second place, KCSR, 3-time champions, but they're in second at the moment. RRC is actually not too far behind them, chasing down KCSR for a hopeful second in the Community Cup. But also AMSU is only 20 points off RRC. So yeah, there's quite a bit of a fight there for second and third overall in the championship still, even if MVRC have it well sewn up. Currently looking at the KCSR livery of blank file there. Currently running P2 in this practice session. 17 minutes to go in practice. Nice. Sun's out. Track's dry. In some regards, giving the drivers a false sense of security going into this one. But they know what's to come. They know what's to come weather-wise. They've been preparing and training in all weather and track conditions. I am expecting a fair bit of spice though going into the turns 2 and 3 particularly. A lot of people could be running off on turn 1 as well if they're running on a slick tyre on a wet track, going a bit too hot, really underestimating things. Let's jump on board with blank file as he opens up a lap. Turn 1 here, fast right hand corner. Really easy to run that off the track if you're not careful and you miss your braking point. Then we've got turns 2 and 3 here. It's a real choke point as you then sort of slalom or S-bend your way down the hill here. The drivers are going to have to be really careful coming through this first sector, especially on this soaked track. A bunch of drivers no doubt starting on a slick as well. So like I said, this is a practice session, just the start out. Quickest car so far out there on track, no surprises there, is Jake Birkenhead for MVRC. Beautiful blue livery he's running there with the red accents. Getting all over the back of the Club 50 livery car. Looking to check out the draft situation on this track for these cars. He pops out. He's going to be on the inside running into the chicane. Alright, Jake Birkenhead currently running a 117 flat in practice. Let's stay on board with him for a lap. Turn 1 here. And then into that S-bend section, turns 2 and 3 here, real choke point. Or he's not pushing, he might be finished the lap. Might not have been quite the right time to jump on board with him. Just driving slow now. Yeah, so he just backed out of that lap, obviously. Let's have a look at Mattia Morgante in the RRC car. RRC currently running 3rd, trying to chase down KCSR. If they can get a really good result over KCSR tonight, that might see them take over 2nd. Really simple livery here, black with some cool red and green accents and the white stripes. Oh, he's losing it. Let's flick back to Johnny. KCSR, he's in P4 currently. Running a sub 118, just 117.98. Let's check out the rest of this lap with Johnny that we haven't quite managed to check out yet on board. So you got the double right-hander here that leads on to the one long straight on this track. And then you got a left-right chicane here that leads up and over the hill. Really holding your speed through these apexes is going to be key. Making sure you get a good exit here so you can maximise the speed run you're going to get down this hill into the fast right-hander. Making sure you really nail this right-hander so you don't lose any speed and time opening up your next lap. Because we're back to the fast right-hander at turn 1 now. Another driver to watch tonight, obviously, Frano, as we've seen all season, has been extremely rapid. He's in the blue AMS2 livery. He's teleports his way back to the pit lane, parked up in front of the nice orange RPM liveried car of Raptor, I believe. Let's have a look at Roy. He's in the yellow dominated RPM livery, the teammate of Raptor. He's coming around now to open up a lap. Currently running a best of a 119.38. Nice camera shot there as you see the cars coming out of that S-bend section. Approaching the double right-hander now. That leads on to the big long back straight. Really short lap here. Fun lap though. It's a great track. Let's have a look at Grumpy Old Fart. The Racing Engineers livery. Grumpy Old Fart always gets good support at these races. Currently sitting in a really nice position. P6 with a 118 flat. That's a really good lap for Grumpy so far in practice. 10 minutes to go now in practice before we get into our 5-minute private qualifying session. So these drivers won't have to deal with each other on track during qualifying, which is really nice. But it's also only a 5-minute session, which is going to see a lot of pressure on these drivers to make sure they nail a lap. You obviously want to go as fast as you can, but you really want to make sure you at least get something on the board with such a time-limited session. Here we have Andy Moore of NRT in the striped livery. Oh, not a good time to jump on board there. Losing the car. But that means we can move on to PDM, driving for Slipstream. This is a really nice livery. Got that hexagonal pattern with the red, white and blue. It's really classy colour patterns going on there. And they've got their really slick sort of drifty Slipstream logo as well. I really like the look of that roundel that they have. There's Pete's teammate for tonight, Tom Goodwrench, driving for Slipstream. Got a best of a 118.7 so far. He's driven past his teammate there. He's parked up on the side of the track. The orange-dominated AMSU livery there. That's Pavel for tonight. Currently just chilling out in the pits. Roy exiting the pits. Harm, the other racing engineer's driver racing tonight. Harm, always rapid. He's the designer of these lovely liveries for the racing engineers. Always among my favourites, the racing engineers liveries. The bright yellow really pops on the orange and the blue. Looks nice. Here we have Bluth there, driving for 10 Tenths Racing. 119.2 his best so far in this practice. That's a nice livery that. That's a really cool blue. It's not the usual sort of blue you'd see, but it looks really nice with that black. Classy. Andy GH, SRGP. Black, white and yellow. Timeless sort of colour combo. Always looks good. You can't miss a yellow car. They always stand out. Yes, I'm not sure I know this driver with that name. That's not ideal. 10 Temps driver though. This has got the same blue but on a white now. It's an interesting one. And there's the other NRT car. They're actually riding behind each other at the moment. The teammates just cruising the track together. So Chris is in the orange-dominated striped livery. Now that's the more traditional NRT colour scheme there. But I like that they went through the effort to have two different liveries to differentiate the drivers. It does make it nice to, once you get used to them at a glance, it's much quicker to tell who's who. Here's the Club 50 livery, the polka dot golf livery. Teammates cruising the track together for these guys as well. It's Pedro Faiska and Chris Bloom there. Currently running P21 and 22. They're just cruising the track. They're just doing laps, just having fun. They perhaps aren't going too crazy right now because they know the track conditions aren't exactly what they're going to be in the race. So, especially with that wet track at the start, and then it will start raining later on as well. Oh, one of them loses it. But that's alright, they have a spare, and he's off. Alright, look at that, we've got both the KCSR cars running P3 and P4 at the moment. Matteo Morgante of RRC and P2, so obviously it's both those KCSR cars getting up to some strife there. That wasn't ideal. But if you have a look at that, we've got Matteo sitting there in P2 for RRC, and then you've got both the KCSR cars behind P3 and P4. KCSR sitting in P2 in the championship. Matteo's gonna really want a bit more support on the point side of things from Mauro De Rocco and P9, his teammate, if they really want to take the fight to KCSR for P2. Because currently, even though the KCSR drivers are behind Matteo, they were both up there and near the top. So that's going to be an overall points gain for KCSR already in P2. Just under 5 minutes left to go in practice now. Looking a little further down in the point standings, we also have NRT currently in P6, 392 points. Very closely behind them is 10 tenths, 386. So there's a really good battle there for P6, which will become P5, I believe, once SSR are out of the picture because they've dropped out of the championship. So there's battles all up and down the field there. Battle for P9 between the Racing Engineers and SRGP. There's only 15 points in that. RPM and P8. They've got quite a bit of catching up to do if they want to get to 10 tenths, but they've also got a pretty good lead over the Racing Engineers, so there might be a little bit no man's land championship-wise for them. Getting close to qualifying now. It's going to be quite exciting and a little bit do or die. We could have a bit of a mixed grid if the usual suspects aren't able to get a good lap in time with the reduced 5-minute session. So here's Merida Rocco for RRC with the 118.45 and P9. That's the teammate of Mattia currently in P2. So, I mean, we can't really look too much at the pace right now because obviously the race conditions are going to be so much different with wet and then a drying track and then more rain coming. So we really can't look too much at this all-out dry pace as a reference. But it's better than nothing. Currently, yeah, KCSR looking pretty good. P3, P5 now. So, grumpy old fart for the Racing Engineers moving up to P4. That's a really good lap for him. So having a look at grumpy old fart now, let's ride on board. He's sitting in a bit of traffic. And he's coming into the pits. I think we see Blankfire warming up the tyres just ahead there. We might pay to jump on board with him as he might be opening up a qualifying sim lap. So we'll jump on board with him once we see Johnny cross the line here. Good to jump on board with him though. So here we are, we'll jump onto Blankfire now. I believe he's starting a push lap. Best for Blankfile so far, 117.5. We've got mere seconds left on the clock now for practice. But he's obviously out there on the track, so he'll have time to finish this lap no matter what. Really maximising that exit out of that tight right-hander is going to be key. It'll mean the difference between a really good run down this straight or not. So most drivers crossed the line and taken the chicken flag by now. Coming up on traffic here. Is it going to affect the lap? Oh, I don't think so. Let's see if this is an improvement for blank file. 117.5 becomes a... no improvement. 117.5. It was a nice clean lap though. Jake managing to go with the sub 1 minute 17 there with 116.92. He's on one. No improvement though. So Jake dominating the season for the Community Cup. Well clear in the driver's standings in first place. And along with JK, who's driving Server 1 tonight, along with JK, he's really put MVRC into a position where no one's been able to challenge them at all. So, very dominant performance for MVRC. And there's no reason he should lead up for tonight. And it looks like being 4/10 clear of the field in practice, it's going to be business as usual for MVRC and Jake. So, just moving on to qualifying very shortly. Remember, it's a 5-minute session, so yeah, so it's going to be really do or die. Let's jump on board with... let's go Jake. So yeah, private qualifying, so you won't see anyone else on track but the driver we're on board with. They don't have to get busy getting run over by each other, so they can just get on with it. Warm up their tyres and just absolutely send it. But it is a really short session, remember, so we're already down to 4 minutes remaining. And well, no one's even halfway through their hour lap yet. So we're going to be looking at maybe 1 or 2 laps, flying laps, I'm going to guess. Maybe 3, I don't know, we'll see. But it can take a couple of laps to get these tyres really up to operating temperature. So some of these drivers might really struggle to get close to their really optimal pace with such a short session. It's going to be interesting, but we're here for it. And 3.5 minutes on the clock. We're looking at around about 1:17 to complete a lap. So there might be a couple of laps in it for these drivers. Not much more than that, I'd say. Crosses the line here with about 3:10 to go. So yeah, I'd say a couple, 2 to 3 laps. 3 laps if you're really, really lucky. There are some drivers who are further on track along here than Jake, so some of them might be in for 3 laps if you can keep it clean and just keep busy. But it could have an interesting grid. Well, let's see, we're on board with Jake now. He's on a push lap. Probably not 100% optimal. The tyres probably could be a bit warmer, but let's just see what this opening lap's going to be. Remember, it's best in practice, the 1:16.9, and conditions are pretty similar here. It's sun's out, dry, so maybe even quicker. Alright, that was a 117.1 for Jake, so he went straight to P1. Mattia 6/10ths back, who we're now on board with, who switched over to Mattia of RRC, who's sitting in P2 after his opening lap. Can he respond and improve on his 117.7? Perhaps not to take pole, but perhaps to defend from drivers behind who are going to be looking to improve as well. Pete M with a really good result so far. P3. Johnny B, pretty good, pretty consistent with his practice results. 118.2. So, I mean, all these drivers still obviously have more in the tank. Tyres probably weren't 100% optimal after that first warm-up lap. So let's see if Mattia can improve on that 117.7. Should be able to get a third lap started. Most of these drivers should be able to get a third lap started, looking at it. A minute left on the clock right now. Oh yes, very good improvement. That's a 117.3 for Mattia, who pushes Blankfile down to P3. Johnny B's improved to a 117.7. A 117.4, sorry. Can he improve again? This is lap 3. Not going to be able to get a fourth. Currently P3 for Johnny. Jake, it looks like hasn't been able to improve from his first run, but it was enough, wasn't it? 117.1. Johnny going back to the pits as well, but too slow there. Can Blankfile improve on his third lap and overtake his teammate, perhaps even Mattia, and really close out that P2 in the championship, or at least start well? Yes, that's enough. It takes P2, pushes Mattia down to P3, and also his teammate down to P4. Frano crossing the line. No improvement for Frano, but he is a sub 118. That's really good. Pavel pitting. Alright, looks like everyone's pretty well done. Can Roy improve from P13? It is an improvement for Roy. Goes up to P12. Well done. Slayer improving up to P14. Alright. The chaos is over. We've got a top 3 from Quali. Your front row, Jake Birkenhead, MVRC, P2 Blankfile, KCSR. And then your second row, which is third place Mattia Morgante, fourth place Johnny B. There's P1. Alright, we will be started with the race, no doubt in a few minutes. So take some time to get yourself a snack, some drinks, get settled in for the race start. It's not going to be raining, but the track's going to be wet. It's going to be a wild start. Standing start, so whew, yeah, we've got an hour of it. Get yourself strapped in. Alright, so still just having a little short break. But as you can see, we've got front row Jake, MVRC, blank file, KCSR, second row, Matteo Morgante, RRC, Johnny B, KCSR. So KCSR looking really solid here. They can keep it clean at the start. Third row, PDM for Slipstream and Frano for AMSU. Fourth row, Grumpy Old Fart, the Racing Engineers, and Parble for AMSU. Fifth row, Andy Moore for NRT and Andy GH for SRGP. Row 6, Sean Avery for 10 tenths and Roy for RPM. And then completing the group, we've got Mauro De Rocco for RRC, Slayer 72, MVRC, P14, P15, Bluefair 10 tenths, P16, Carapow, SRGP. Look at that, it goes all the way down to me with no laps. I'm just chilling. Chris H, not getting a lap, just perhaps electing to start at the back. Interesting nonetheless. Really close times all throughout the field. There's like really nothing in it. It's going to more be about who can keep it together with these mixed conditions, really. Going to see all sorts of strategies. It's going to be near impossible, I believe, to keep an eye on who's doing what. Considering some of these drivers are going to be starting on wets and some starting on slicks. I'm really not too sure how bad it'd be to start on slicks and how beneficial it would be depending on how quickly it dries up. So I mean, could be a whole lot of different strategies going on here. These drivers have to wait for this whole time, this whole countdown, which is a minute, just over a minute to go, because I am the sole participant not readying up. They have to wait for the whole countdown. Standing start. I've got to get into this monitor view ASAP for this race start. Always stressful, don't want to miss the action. There might be a lot of action, actually. Getting there. 30 seconds to go in the countdown for the start of the race. Ten seconds till the start of the race. Here we go. This is going to be spicy. And they're off. That's a good start for Jake. Also looks like a pretty good start for Mattia. He's covered off by blank file. Oh no, Johnny's gone off the track. He's going to lose positions hand over fist. We've got an AMSU driver off the track in the background as well. But overall, oh no, I think we've had some carnage with some drivers at the very back. They're okay, they're getting away. But otherwise we're looking clean through the start of the race. Everyone keeping it clean and respectful. Everyone knows these conditions are tough. So it's good to see no real losers there. We do have both the RPM drivers now sitting in P20, P21. It's unfortunate. Roy and Carapow looking to be a few seconds off the back of the pack. Perhaps having some issues. Here's your top four. Jake Birkenhead for MVRC in the lead where he started the race. Then got blank file on P2. He was able to cover off Matteo Morgante going into T1. Matteo got a really good launch off the line. PDM with a good drive so far up to P4. Johnny B, one of the bigger losers from the top there at the start, running a little wide at T1. He's lost, looks to be about 3 positions, which isn't too bad overall, considering he ran off the track. He's looking to get back on Grumpy straight away. Frano with there's a bit of a gap now from Frano to Johnny. So, oh, got a 10/10 car running wide there in the background. These are really tricky conditions for these drivers, but overall they're doing a really good job at not hitting each other and keeping it on the track. Top 6 now, starting to stretch away from the rest. Jake got over a second to P2 Blankbile. And there's over a second back to Mattia, so they're really sort of spreading out now. Perhaps visibility, a bit of an issue. Let's check out Andy Moore, because he is all over the back of Frano, the AMS2 driver. So Frano started the race, I believe, P5, P6, somewhere around there. But he is now sort of struggling to maintain that top 6 pace. A few seconds off the back of Johnny. And he's got Andy stressing him out. And he's all over the back of him, looking to draft him perhaps down into the chicane here. Can he make it work? Because he is losing a lot of time here behind Frano. Perhaps Frano on the wrong tyre. Andy Moore able to get that move done cleanly. Nice work. Andy GH and Mauro De Rocco running side by side there. Mauro getting the position made. So Mauro's moved up to P9. That's a really good start for him in this race. He's got his teammate Mattia Morgante still sitting in P3. So if Mauro can get up there and start fighting with Johnny, that'll be a good help for KCSR in that fight for P2. Some drivers struggling there to keep it on the track. We've got a driver off the track. P19, who was that? It's Slayer. He's had a nightmare. His teammate's off up the road in first, but he's had a bit of a nightmare at the first corner. He's going again. We don't like to see that, but it's good to see him going without any real damage, I believe. Roy now running down in P22 for RPM. His teammate has made some progress up to P17 after what looked like a bit of a sketchy start. So that's good for Raptor. He's getting into the swing of things as the track's starting to dry out. As we ride on board with Raptor, we can see that it is drying out. Not all that quickly, but definitely happening. We've now got an even bigger pack. So the top 5 are now a pack, and P6 is 6 seconds off. Frano now P6 has dropped all the way off. I think Andy Moore has had an issue as well, because he was past Frano at one point earlier. Now behind him again. Johnny B all over the back of Pete here for Slipstream. Coming into the downhills S-bend section. So yeah, we're back to that status quo. We've got Andy Moore harassing Frano again. He's obviously wasn't able to hold that position that he gained a lap or two ago. Oh, he's spun. Perhaps that's what happened last time. But this is now much worse for poor Andy. He's losing more positions. Got his teammate now passing him on track. That's Chris H in the orange NRT livery. Oh, it's sad to see, but yeah, that's Andy now down to P16. He was running in a good P6, P7. He's got a lot of work to do now. The battle for P7 is heating up, led by Harm. He's got Mauro De Rocco up, who's now up to 8th place, right behind him. Can he keep this charge going? Can he get past Harm? Currently on board with Pavel in the orange AMSU livery. He's putting a lot of pressure on Mauro here. He's looking to take back that P9. That P8, sorry. Further down the field, we have a lot going on. P3 through to 16 is a bit of a fight. Got some very definite little clumps on track now. Slayer 72 trying some progress made all over the back of Roy. Roy up to PE18. He was at the back of the field, but just before. So it just shows you how quickly things can change with these conditions. You know, multiple people going off each lap. You just really don't know where to look at the moment. Oh, car off the corner there. Oh no. Oh no, that's the racing. That's Roy again for RPM. Unfortunately, he's having a bit of a rough time. RPM do love to throw these spicy weather combos. And that's Roy. This is his combo, and he's having a bit of a rough time of it, sadly. But this is the battle for P2 here. Blank file all over the back of Mattia Morgante, so we missed it, but Mattia has obviously managed to find a way past blank file at some point. Perhaps blank file having a bit of an off. But either way, he's all over the back of Mattia now, and he wants his P2 back. Only 8 minutes into this race. Blank file really putting the pressure on Mattia here. Johnny B's also made it up to P4 now, as he's gotten past Pete M. Looks like Pete M might have had a bit of a moment, because he's a few seconds off the back of Johnny now. Is Johnny trying to catch up to his teammate in P3? His teammate blank file here all over the back of Mattia. Can he get something done going into the chicane here? He's right on the back of him now. He's going for it. Mattia just able to be a lot more aggressive and deeper into the apex on the brakes. Really good job by Mattia on the brakes there. So I think Blankfile's going to have to be a little more aggressive than that on the brakes if he wants to take him there. But perhaps he can just keep the pressure on, and he can force a mistake. Conditions ever evolving for these drivers. Really unique sort of challenge. Just trying to keep it on the track, let alone racing for position. But all this fighting between Mattia and Blankfile was, of course, letting Jake just run away. Now with a 3-second lead over Mattia, just about. Positions looking to have settled a little bit throughout the field. Oh no, we've had a car go off down the field. Pedro Faiska for Club 50, unfortunately. The polka dot golf livery going off at turn 1. Such an easy corner to just slightly overdo it. You don't even have to overdo it by very much at all, and you've just run wide and it's all over. You don't like to see it, but it happens. Blankfile again, trying to get all over the back of Mattia. Mattia's got him covered off on the brakes so far, though. But to be honest, if him and Johnny can just sit in P3 and P4, and that should in fact be nearly P2 sealed up in the standings with 1 round to go. With a result like that, obviously we still have to see what happens in server 1, but could have RRC doing a 1-2 there. You never know. Well, I don't know, because I'm not watching it, but others will know. Got a little group here trying to fight over P9. That's P11, P10, and P9. All fighting for position. Mauro working his way up the field again. Getting past Chris. That was Mauro. Was that just Mauro getting past? Yeah, it was. That's a back marker in there with him. So we've got an SRGP car who's a back marker, just to believe them. That's Carapau, yeah. So he's down to P22. He's been through the pits already with some damage. He's currently sitting between Mauro and Chris on track. starting to rain out there. You can see the rain coming down now. Let's jump on board. Yeah, it's certainly hitting the window. Mara getting passed by Roy. Roy's on the charge. Perhaps it was a tyres situation. Because, like, we just don't really have any way of knowing who's on what tyre. But Roy, who was running down at the back, is now up to P9. He's pulling out the pace now. So what's the best lap there for Mauro? That's a 128.6. If we have a look at Roy. Look at that, he's on a 123.0. So Roy, I'm guessing, is on a slick tyre. And that's why he was struggling so much at the start. But look at it, it's raining now. So he's making hay while the sun was shining, but now that it's starting to rain, he might be in a bit of trouble again. But the grip's obviously still there right now because he's just charging. So the slick runners are looking good right now, but it is raining again. Their grip is going to start to fall away again. Look at that, it is getting heavier. I dare say Roy may start really struggling again. But look at that, all the way from the back up to P8. That just shows you the difference in the tyre when you're on the right tyre at the right time. But we could see it falling away. And all over the back of Frano now. And the grip's still there right now. If he can hold on to this without it, he can hold on to the car through the rain. This could be a good result. Because he has a lot more grip than the wet runners right now, I'd say. Unless I've got the tyres around the wrong way. Oh no! Those two are definitely on a different tyre. Whichever tyre they're on, they're different. Because the grip difference is insane. Look at that. Roy's trying to find his way past. He's done it. That's P7 for Roy now. On the charge. The charge continues. A little bit of contact there. Glad to see nothing really came of it. Could have even been lagged. There may not have actually been any contact between them. Could have just been my ping. Roy now trying to chase down Grumpy Old Fart. This is he's only 23 seconds off the leader. It was 30 seconds off last lap, so he is gaining so fast. Best lap for Roy, 123. What's the best lap for the leader? 126. Wow, so Roy's running 3 seconds a lap quicker than the leader right now. But look at that, you can see the track obviously getting a lot wetter right now. So Roy's last lap was a 123.3. It's, if we, I dare say this one's going to be quite a bit slower. I mean, he's been held up a bit by Grumpy here, but he's probably only been held up by Grumpy because his grip's running out. So if he's not careful here on the brakes... Yeah, so the grip's going to start running out for Roy. Looks like he still has a... No, he's coming into pit. So is this going to be for fresh slicks or fresh wets? It's anyone's guess. But that was an awesome charge there for Roy, making use of the tyre advantage that he had on the field. Going from the back up to P7. Obviously going to fall back a bit now, but if he can nail the strategy, could be a really good overall gain for Roy. The top 3 have a pretty good spacing between them now. Matteo Morgante's actually taken a bit of time out of that lead that Jake Birkenhead had. It's down to 2.3, 2.4 seconds. Blank file back a couple of seconds from him, so Matteo's pace has improved by the looks of it. Or blank files might have stayed the same. We do have a bit of a battle for P8 because Chris is right behind Mara De Rocco. Look at that, yeah, she's soaked again now. So Roy probably picked just the right time to get those tyres off because that was his advantage completely gone. Really good use of the strategy for Roy so far. Chris doing well to get through traffic there, going into the chicane. On board with Sean Avery for 10 tenths. Just behind Slayer. He's trying to take P13 off Slayer. Slayer's actually done a really good job here to get back up to P13 because as we saw earlier in the race, he had that off at T1, which sent him all the way down the back. So, been on the recovery since then, but now he's got Sean Avery all over the back of him. Got a bit of pressure to withstand. Oh, so that's Johnny B sitting in behind Sean Avery there. Oh, that's a Club 50 car getting all out of shape. So Johnny B has either had an issue or he's been through the pits. I haven't seen what's happened to him, but he's now trying to charge his way back past cars. So he's just gone past Slayer, who's gone off track, and now he's trying to get past Sean Avery. Slayer trying to follow him through past Sean Avery. So I don't know what happened to Johnny B there, but he's all the way down in P13 now. And now we've got Mauro de Rocco up to P7, Mattia in P2. The other KCSR car down in P12. He's in the pits though, so that's an obvious one. Don't know if Johnny's done the same or not. But either way, it's looking really good for RRC right now. When it wasn't earlier. It's really interesting how quickly these things can change. But we could just be out of pace as well on the pits. Mattia still holding P2 now, just under 3 seconds off the back of Jake. You can see him just up ahead there, going through T1 on lap 14, I think, or lap 15. Pace starting to drop off there. Last lap for Mattia, a 1:29.4. Obviously, as the water's starting to flood the track again. You see the rooster tail's coming off the back of Jake up ahead. Much closer than Mattia is right now, and it would be a bit difficult to see where you're going with those trails. But with that KCSR car pitting, we've now got Harm up to P3. Followed by Pete M of Slip. So Harm's done a good job here to get past Pete M. Pete M, who we saw running in P3 in the early phase of this race. Actually, grumpy old fart for the racing engineers in P5 as well. So both racing engineers cars looking really good at the moment. Slightly out of phase on the pits, but still well up in the top 10. Good result for the team. Just up on board with PDM, who's in P4, just behind Harm. See how bad the spray is when you're running about a second behind. It's not so bad at about a second. It's definitely compromised. You certainly wouldn't want to be running too much closer unless you were sure you could get the move done, because the visibility is just rough. Last lap of 1:30.29. Certainly slowing down. The track's getting really soaked now. Let's see what Roy's pace has been after that pit stop, because we saw him running really fast when he was on those tyres as the track was dry, but managed to get those off. He's still running pretty good now. He's running at the similar pace as everyone else, but that's to be expected with the rain coming down, so could be looking at an overall gain by the end of it. Let's go to Tom Goodwrench, who's the teammate of PDM for tonight, for Slipstream. He's currently trying to put the pressure on Pavel for AMS2, just ahead of him. Got a back marker just in front of them. That's Chris Bloom for Club 50 and P19. Oh, 2 cars in front of you, the spray is almost unbearable. Manages to get past the Club 50 car without issue. It's always good to see. Blankfile now down in P14, really harassing Slayer. Does not want to be held up by the red MVRC car any longer. This is all playing into the hands of Jake, Slayer's teammate. I'm sure he's not trying to hold him up, but it's just a happy coincidence. Look at the spray here. Blankfile's all over the back of him. But Johnny B making the move on Chris H just up the road, but Blankfile not quite close enough to go for the move on Slayer this time around. Slayer really struggling to get on the gas there, coming out of the chicane. Blankfile doesn't need to be told twice that that's a good time to go past. P3 through to P5 still raging on. We've got Harm leading that little bunch. Slipstream in the middle of 2 Racing Engineers cars. A little deep there for Grumpy. See him lose a little bit of time. Nothing too bad though. Blankfile now on the back of Andy Moore for NRT. Making some progress. A few seconds up the road from Slayer now. Johnny looking to make progress as well. He's now just behind Slayer, so trying to follow what his teammates been doing. Blankfile not quite close enough to go for a move on Chris into the chicane that time around. Let's have a look at his teammate Johnny. He's getting a bit closer to the back of Slayer now. Almost looks like a bit of deja vu with Blankfile making the move on Slayer just before. Alright, can he get it done? He's quite close here. He should be able to get a good slipstream into the chicane. Taking the outside line. But he's got quite the overspeed. Yeah, look at that. He's clearly in front. So he's got the move done. Let's go just ahead because... yeah, there we go. Blankfile's got it done. We're on board with Chris H. And he sees Blankfile past him now. So the KCSR car's doing well to move back through the field. At least one of them has already had a pit stop. I'm not sure if the other one's had a pit stop or had an issue. Probably both pitted, to be honest. They're both looking like they're in a good position, charging their way back through the field at least. That's a nice looking NRT car, isn't it? That ripped sort of striped look. Oh no, Slayer's had a problem again at T1. He's running off the track a bit going up the hill. Not great to see. Unfortunate stuff there. Raptor now going past, taking P14 off him. Checking out the battle for P8 here. It's Tom Goodwrench for Slipstream in P8 currently. Pavel, the orange AMS2 car, right behind him. Wouldn't mind taking P8 off him. Halfway through this race now. Rain should stop soon enough. It'll be interesting to see whether these drivers pit for slicks or what. We've got 7, 8, 9 all bunched up on track now. So Mauro in P7 looks like he's had a bit of an issue. So let's jump up to Tom in P8 and go aboard with him because he's all over the back of Mauro now. P7, 8 and 9 all really close together on track. Same goes for P11 through to 13. If we jump on board with Johnny B, we'll see he's now stuck behind both NRT teammates in P11 and P12, Chris and Andy. Blankfile's managed to make his way past both of them already. He's now in P10 trying to chase down Pavel, but Pavel's got 10 seconds on him still. Johnny gets this right, he'll be able to get past at least one of these guys. KCSR looking to secure P2 in the championship. They're currently sitting P2 in the championship over RRC, but not by that many points. Only a small handful, so they can get a really good double team result in this race. It'll go a long way to securing P2. There he goes, managed to get past Andy Moore. He's now just got Chris, the orange NRT car, in front of him. Can he get that one done this time? Both drivers really pushing. Got a few really tight battles on track now. The battle for P3 with Harm, Pete and Grumpy still raging on. The battle for P7 with Mauro, Tom and Pavel still raging on. Still a tight wee bunch. All drivers keeping it respectful though. Johnny B really hounding Chris now. Look at that, he's all over the back of him through the S's. Too wide through the double right-handers. Lets him go through first, potentially for the switchback. Oh no, made contact. Don't like to see contact, but luckily no one lost the car. Let's actually get the view from Andy just behind. This could be a spectacular view if something was to happen. Headlights on, lots of spray. No, respectful. Good to see. So that's the move done for Johnny. Managing to get past Chris H now. So he's passed both the NRT cars. He's only got his teammate in front of him. But his teammate's good 5-6 seconds up the road now after Johnny's been held up a little bit. Getting dark now. As well as wet. Really stressing out everyone's computer systems. Having a look at that battle for P7 again. We're on board with Tom Goodwrench. The slipstream just behind Mauro. Gaining on Mauro very quickly, in fact. What's happened to Mauro? What? Nothing has happened to Mauro. He just must have got a really terrible exit. But that's the move done for Tom. Up to P7 for slipstream. Pete M up in P3 for slipstream. This could be a really good result for slipstream. They're actually reasonably far down in the championship, so this could really do them wonders. .24 minutes to go in this hour-long race. 25 laps done. Looks like we've lost both of the Club 50 cars from the race, unfortunately. And one of the SRGP cars. Don't like to see it, but it does happen, especially in these chaotic conditioned races. Can happen from time to time. Get a few extra retirements. Mauro Rocco now down in P7. He might come under a bit more pressure from Pavel, if Pavel shows he's got a bit more pace, because Tom was able to get past. Can Pavel now do the same? Let's jump on board with Pavel. He's now behind Mauro. So Tom Goodwrench is pitted out of P6 into... Well, he wants to get rid of his tyres. Well, probably doesn't actually. He probably just needs gas. But Pavel able to keep the pressure on Mauro ahead. Blank Bowles actually managing to catch the sponge. Earlier on I was saying he was a good 10 seconds behind, but yeah, he's caught up. looking to get some more moves made. This could have been the strat from KCSR all along. Get that pit stop done early and just run to the end and watch everyone get out of your way as they pit. But it's working well for them at the moment because they've been able to clear through most of the traffic reasonably quickly for the most part. Held up by some cars for 1 or 2 laps, but nothing really crazy. They've been able to keep moving forward. So this could be a really good result for KCSR. Currently both RRC cars running on the road ahead of them, but I dare say it won't be like that come the end. Flying File making a lot of progress on the brakes there onto Pavel. They're going to start feeling the pressure now. Flying File running a little wide. Harm in the pits now. It's another position gained for the KCSR drivers again. As he continues to hound Pavel, who's hounding Rocco. It's a little bunch there. This is P5 through to 7 right now. All occupying just about the same piece of road. Keep it clean. We don't want to see it end in tears. Mattia coming into the pits now. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to these KCSR drivers. If he's been able to quietly run along at really hot pace, he should clear them because they've been held up in traffic for the most part. Oh no, that's not something we want to be seeing. That's a lapped car. That's Grumpy, the lapped car. He's obviously had a bit of trouble at some point because he's way down in P16 with damage now. That's not what you want to see. A lot more cars coming into the pits now. So these are guys that are obviously running their tanks dry from the start and just filling up what they need to. Pretty basic strategy, but let's just see where they all filter out. Mattia on his way out of the pits. Is he going to lose positions? He has. He's lost positions to Blank File, but not Johnny. Johnny's had problems. Yeah, Johnny's struggling to get past Mattia and Mario Rocco now. So this really is turning out to be the KCSR versus RRC battle. We also have both the A... Oh, no! Oh, it's disaster for Johnny. He's gone around. He's lost his wing. Oh, that's game-changing for the race. Oh, no. That's disaster for KCSR. Absolute disaster for KCSR. He's now passed by Chris. Oh. We hate to see it. That's really good for the RRC boys. They're going to be loving that. But, oh, that's not... We don't like to see that. We don't like to see cars taken out of the race in that way. I mean, it was taken out of the race, obviously, but you just don't want to see it end like that. We want to see the race go to the line. So, Mauro and Mattia for RRC running P5 and P6. Blank File up to P3 now. He's had the run of a lifetime. Mauro coming into pit now. So, he's obviously going for that late strat. It'll be interesting to see how many spots he loses here. He's definitely going to lose P6, 7 and 8. Maybe 9 and... Maybe 9 as well. Maybe 10. But he does have a pretty decent lead. Blank File now in the race lead. Has that been an issue for Jake? Or just a pit stop? Interesting. Got Mattia in third. About 5 seconds behind Jake. And Jake is about 5 seconds behind your new race leader, Blank File. So Blank File really been putting in the work here. Getting through the field. And now look at what he's got to show for it. He's got the race lead. This is vintage KCSR. But it can be heartbreak so quickly as well, because we see his teammate Johnny, who was running just as well through the field now, and the pit's getting damage repaired. You hate to see it. It's heartbreaking. But that's the race lead. Blank file. Oh, he's coming in now. That's the race lead gone. Okay. That explains a lot. Here I was being hopeful. I thought he'd already pitted. Maybe he had already pitted. Maybe this was the strat all along. Could be a tyre swap. It could be to get onto a much higher paced tyre as the other KCSR car. If Johnny's leaving the pits with a repaired car. Field well spread out now. People are pretty much battling the conditions more than each other in this race. Mattia running in P2. 6 seconds off Jake, so business as usual for the top two from earlier. Pete M moves up to P3 as he's passing Blank Bile in the pits. Looks like Frano's also going to get the jump on him. But he should get back out in front of Harm and Pavel. Let's have a look. Coming out the pit lane now. Yeah, he's in front of Harm. But he is going to have to get those tyres up to temperature. P17, that's Roy just ahead of him. And Roy's obviously had a few troubles since that early race charge that he had. That was impressive to watch though. He had a good 6 seconds a lap quicker than most of the field at that point. Really charging through it. Starting to get real dark now. 15 minutes to go in this race. Oh, that's a 10 temps car spinning around. I think that's, yeah, it's Sean Avery. He's lost the rear end obviously. Back into the swing of things. He's down at P17. That's let Roy gain a spot. He's up to P16, just behind his teammate Raptor. I say just behind, but he's 15 seconds behind him on track. Tom Goodwrench has managed to find himself behind Slayer again. Starting to get back up to the back of him to put some pressure on. I'll tell you what, Johnny is in P11. He's a minute and a half off the lead, but to be in P11 after that disaster that he had, the damage, it shows you how well he's had up until that point. He's in a bit of no man's land at the moment though. 10th place is way up the road and 12th place is way behind him, so just running the clock out. Hopefully he can get some more positions back, because they are grouped up a bit in front of him. Blue Fair on the back of this battle now for P12. Slayer, Tom and Blue Fair. Let's have a wee look at your race leader, who's now 7 seconds ahead of P2, Mattia, for RRC. Just as he's done all season so far, Jake is well out in front. Very dominant season for Jake in this race. His last lap, 121.9, is obviously on them soft, slick tyres now. let's go on down the field a wee bit and have a look at this battle for P12 again. Because it's still raging on. We've got 3 cars in the fight. We're looking at Tom for slipstream, but he is all over the back of Slayer, who's just been held up there going into T2. So they've bunched up again. Bluefear now all over the back of Tom. So they're a little 3-car bunch. It almost looks like one. They're so close together. Coming into the double right-hander now. Let's see if anyone's able to get something done with a bit of slipstream on the brakes. Not quite close enough to throw a real move into it. Slayer doing enough on the brakes to defend. Bluefear looks like he's going to go for the move into T1. Oh, what a move. What a lunge. Gets it done. That sees Tom shuffled down to P14. Can Bluefear get the move done on Slayer? Or is Tom going to be able to come back? And meanwhile, they've got third place Pete M behind them who wants to get through. But they're all fighting for position. His teammate lets him through. That's nice. That's sensible. He should pretty safely get... Oh, Bluefear's not making it easy. That's a bit scary. Battle for P7's heating up again as well. We've got Pavel just behind Mauro. Back to the battle for P12, led by Slayer of MVRC. Followed by Bluefear and Tom Goodwrench. And then we've got nearly 15 seconds down the road from them. P15 and 16, both the RPM drivers. PDM really looking for a way through these guys. 7 minutes left on the clock. He doesn't want to get held up too much because that could bring Frano into his fight for P3. Frano currently about 7 seconds behind on track from this little bunch, but if he's held up too much in this fight, that could be whittled away. Jake Bergenhead now with nearly 10 seconds over Mattia. Bluefair looking to put a nose in on Slayer into T1, but thought better of it. Slayer really good on the brakes. Bluefair all over the back of Slayer here. Is he going to be brave enough to try something going into the chicane? Still not really close enough with how late Slayer jams those brakes on. He's really going to be relying on a bit of a mistake. This is a battle for P11. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Spicy. I think it's enough. He's got it done. Oh! He's going to be followed through by Tom. Look at that. Tom capitalizing on the mistake. Well, not the mistake, but he's capitalizing on the aggressive move from Bluefair. And he gets past Slayer as well. That filters Slayer down to P13 now. And now Tom all over the back of Bluefair again. This is a battle that doesn't want to stop. And I don't want it to stop. Oh, Bluefair getting a little squirrely on the curb. That's going to see Tom able to capitalize. Running side by side. Slayer lying in wait. The battle for P11 is the battle for the race right now. The lead is sealed. Running side by side into the chicane. All drivers keeping it clean. That's what you want to see. Bluefair does lose that position though. Tom the overall gainer now up to P11. Just under 5 minutes left to go. Oh yeah, we'll get to the podium battle. The podium battle is starting to heat up now. We've got Frano on blank file. We like to look at all the battles, and it's not just about what you want to see, my pal. I cover whatever I'm feeling like looking at. But thank you for the heads up. I don't think this is going to be too much of a battle, to be honest. Frano's done well so far, but I think now that Blankfile's in the P3 spot, he's probably going to be able to hold it. That's not a given though, they're running pretty close and there's a lot of traffic up ahead of them. All it's going to take is for Blankfile to get tripped up on some of this traffic, and Frano's going to be able to capitalise. We've seen Frano all season pull out some insane performances. The consistency of Frano is amazing. He may not have the Jake or the Mattia level of pace, but from time to time he's able to put in his best effort lap after lap, and that's always huge. And it's always a fight for often a fight for the podium. But this has also been an insane performance from Blankfile. He had that early pit stop strategy, which has let him slide up to P3 through managing that traffic really well. These guys. Who have we got here? We've got Mauro DeRocco and Pavel now. This is the fight for P6. Is that Mauro had a bit of an issue? Yeah, I think he's had a bit of an issue because that's Pavel slightly running away. Johnny making his way up to P8 past Pete. So Pete, it looks like Pete has gotten himself into some trouble. He was running in P3, obviously. That P3 battles now belongs to Blankfile and Frano, but poor old Pete has had an accident. I hope no one else did that to him, but that's sad to see. Frano now being held up by traffic. Now we get to see the battle for P11 and the battle for P3 because they're intertwined on track. Frano getting out of the way. Slayer getting out of the way for Frano so that he can try to get back up to Blankfile. The podium's not finished, but we're probably only going to get another, maybe one lap after this one. It will be interesting to see if Jake makes another lap. I think he will. Can Pavel get harm? Alright, so yeah, that's the clock up. We're definitely going to get another lap out of this. We've actually got the race leader there just behind the battle we were looking at on track on his final lap. P2, 12 seconds off the back of him. Huge gap from P2 down to P3. 50 seconds off the lead, we've got Blankfile. The race leader though, Jake Birkenhead in P1. He's done everything right in this race. Everything right in this race. Just driving to the finish line now. Does Pavel have one last lunge in him? No. He's not going to need one last lunge. These guys will actually get another lap, I suppose. Oh! What a move! Harms had trouble on the exit. No! He's pushed him wide. Oh, you don't want to see it. Is he going to wait? Oh, it's a shame. That's a shame, that one. It'll be interesting to see how they call that. Jake takes P1. Matthias coming through to take P2. GG. Blankfile here with the well-secured P3 now. What happened to Frano? I missed what happened to Frano, unfortunately, but he's now down to P6. How did that happen? That's unfortunate. It's a shame we can't look at replays during the race, because we always miss a lot of action, unfortunately. Poor old Frano, he was looking really good in that P4 spot, but perhaps he's had a bit of a moment. P6 isn't terrible, though. P5 and P6 for AMS2 is a great result. Mauro coming through to finish up in P4 for RRC. So that is a really good overall gain for RRC over KCSR. That's the teams battle we were really closely watching, the P2 fight. We still need to see what the results were on server 1 to really know how that goes, but RRC certainly getting a good score over KCSR in this one. Is everyone done? Well done, all drivers and teams. Just checking out your final podium there. So Jake Birkenhead with the P1, Mattia with the P2. Interestingly, Blankfile in P3 actually did 2 stops. The next best placed 2 stopper was Johnny, his teammate, down in P9. Poor old Johnny having that accident with all that damage. Decent recovery to P9. Mauro and finishing up in P4, and Pavel P5. Frano, unfortunately, having a little issue near the end there that we missed. Need to hopefully see someone's replay on that, see what happened at some point. Harm and P7 for the racing engineers. Chris, NRT. Johnny KCSR, P9. Tom, Slipstream in P10. That's your top 10. Well done to everybody in the race. It's a huge effort, that combination with that weather. Now I'm going to switch over to my post-race while we wait for some of these drivers to come on in for some post-race chats.
Hey mate, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's the one.
Nice.
Going?
Yeah, very well. How did you guys go? That looked like absolute carnage out there, to be honest with you. That was another clinic from you, though, Jake. Give us the rundown on what it looked like from P1.
So traffic was a nightmare because this isn't on anyone's fault or anything. It's just it's hard to overtake and lap at this track. If you catch them at the wrong point in the lap,
yeah,
it's going to cause an accident, letting you out of the way. So it is just part of it, isn't it? But the race went quite well. Got pole. I spun on my actual pole lap. That was my cold tyre lap that I managed to get pole with.
Yes, I noticed that. I commented on that one. I thought, well, the first one was good enough for pole. He didn't need to warm the tyres up anymore. That was well done.
Yeah. I was 4/10 up when I spun it. But it was a good race. The rain was tricky. The trickiest part was the dry period, keeping the rear tyres under control. So I'd back right off. I don't know if you noticed, I was getting reeled in a bit by Mattia in that phase. And I was just watching them rear tyres because you got to go a long time on them wets. And in that dry period, you got them to like 85, 90 degrees, and you just had to really be gentle with them, traction control on the maximum setting, just be gentle with the tyres, don't overheat them too much. And then you'll have good life in you for when it went wet, which again, I started to pull a gap again once it went wet. And then pitted a lap later than everyone, I had a decent gap in front of Mattia, so I just wanted to make sure, again, just take it easy, go a lap late. I had enough time in the bank to go a lap late, and it worked out fine.
Yeah, you put on a clinic, so well done. I mean, it was pretty hard to follow what everyone was doing in the beginning with tyres and whatnot. But once the position sort of settled in, it became a little bit easier to follow what was going on. The race looked like chaos. Everyone did a damn good job just to finish it, I'd say. Blankfile, can you give us the rundown on your race? Because I noticed you managed to recover all the way back up to the podium, but you and your teammate were the only ones to do a two-stop in the top 10. I think that wasn't planned, though, was it? Why can I not hear Blankfile?
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Okay, it's not just me. Blank File, you're a bit quiet. Why don't we go to Roy while he figures that one out? I want to talk about Roy's little charge that he had. Because did you start on slicks, Roy? Because it looked like once things dried out, you were running so quick. You were even running like 3 to 4 seconds lap quicker than Jake at one point.
Well, yeah. The thing was, before we started, I said like, well, everyone who's gonna start on slicks is a madman. And then I decided to load in my setup, and I forgot to change tires, so I accidentally started on slicks.
Right.
So yeah, so yeah.
It made it exciting.
That wasn't ideal.
It made it exciting once once you had that pace, though.
Yeah. I could pass people left, right, and center. So it was quite interesting the first couple laps. First lap T1, I just slid off. I just had no grip, and then I started realizing that I was on the slicks. So, yeah. But I did manage to. I think I got up to P7 or P6 or something, and then once it started raining, of course, I had to pit. So I pitted for wets, took some fuel, and my second stop going back to slicks therefore was a bit shorter. And as I didn't need to take as much fuel as I normally would, but this wasn't the planned strategy, that's for sure.
Hey, no problem. It gave me a bit of an excitement during that phase of the race, that's for sure. Blank...
Oh yeah, not just for you.
Do we have Blank File? No, perhaps not. How about Slayer? Let's get Slayer into this. Slayer was involved in a lot of action in that race, all throughout multiple positions throughout the field, actually. How did your race go, Slayer?
Not the best race, to be honest. Well, first half anyway, when it was really greasy and slippery, I really struggled. And then when it started to actually rain, it wasn't too bad, and I had some decent pace. But because the rain was lasting so long, I was like, I've got to make me tyres last and my fuel last, more importantly, till the pit stop to get the slicks on. I was planning a 2-stop, but I just had to keep going. So I stopped a lap earlier than I wanted to, really, judging by the weather. But I made it work in the end. I had a good battle with Blue Fear at the end. So happy with 11th, a couple of places gained. It's probably feels like one of my worst races in terms of like what I actually did in the race, but I've actually gone forward in the standings where I usually go backwards. So great stuff.
Actually, I noticed that myself. I was commenting a couple of times at how under pressure you were on a few of those times, but every time I did look at you, you had gained positions. So it certainly looked like that as well. Well done.
Cheers. Yeah, I gained a few positions. I kept passing the same people, and then they kept coming past me when I made a mistake. And that, like Roy, he was flying. I thought I was definitely started on slicks, and then he'd come past me when he'd have a mistake or a problem, or the rain came down. Like, so it was a good battle at the back, and then managed to get up into the midfield. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, nice work. Well done, everyone.
One last thing, I've managed to get 6 out of 6 wins this season.
Yeah, I was gonna. I was actually gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up at some point, but yeah, it's been an awfully dominant season.
Given no one gives me a penalty.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll wait to see what happens there. But you certainly look like you had one of the cleaner races out of everyone, so that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I nearly crashed into someone span in front of me. I think it was one of the 10C lads. I felt bad on him. I was like, because he must have panicked even more seeing me come up right behind him. And then, because it was in the drying phase, I touched the wet side of the track and the car just went loose as I tried to avoid him.
Oh no!
It was the right moment.
Well done to keep it on the track.
Yeah.
Blank File, do we have you yet? Maybe? No? Oh, I'd like to hear it.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we've got you. We do have a Blank File.
Okay. Yeah.
Wicked.
The 2-stop was planned, but it didn't really go very well. That's basically how it worked out for me.
Gotcha.
I thought we need to fuel save too much to make it a 1-stop, and so I just went when the first wet set started to wear enough. I went in, got a new set of wet tires, refueled the car completely, so I had to take less fuel at the next stop. That was the plan, but then I just got so stuck in the traffic, man. So it's just, yeah, hard to overtake on this track. Even if you're 2 seconds a lap faster, it's still very hard to overtake.
Yeah, exactly. I spent a good bit of time during the race watching both yourself and Johnny trying to get through the field, and you were doing it relatively quickly, but you could tell you were definitely still losing a fair chunk of time. But poor old Johnny having a big spin, losing his rear wing late in the race as well. Otherwise, that was going to be quite a good double KCSR result.
Yeah, I think he also got spun at some point with a back marker. I don't know
Yeah,
what happened exactly.
pretty decent to finish P9 because he did have quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he also had a minute and a bit of penalty, I think. So yeah.
Oh, that doesn't help. All right, I think I'm going to finish up the broadcast here, but thanks for joining. Oh no, we've got Savage. I'm going to hear from him too. Why not? Come join the chat.
Paddy!
Hey.
Savage Paddy, give us your. Were you in server 2?
Nah,
No,
server
so
1.
how-
I'm just dropping in for a chat.
Yeah, awesome. How did server 1 go?
Yeah, it was alright. I didn't practice the wet until like about 45 minutes before the race, so yeah, I was learning as I went.
Oh wow,
But yeah, it was fun.
nice work. What was the podium from server 1?
1 second, I'll grab it. I can't quite recall.
Oh, it's
It wasn't MVRC.
Ah.
I'll grab it. 2 seconds.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, JK. He started right at the back on dry tires, and he got himself up to P1, and he was going to smash it. But when he pitted, it put fucking dries on again or something. So he had to pit another time the next lap. I think he got P6 or something in the end.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yes. So Dun Gizmo
That's
won.
the one.
Statue. Oh, that's the wrong one. The statue running.
Don't
No.
think so.
This is
No.
the wrong one then.
Yeah, I've got the right one.
Oh, nice.
Donald Gizmo for TRE in P1, Donny McGarry
Yep.
for RPM in P2, and
Nice.
J-Turn for AMSU in P3.
Oh, awesome. That's a
Did
good
you see
RPM
J
result.
Turn's move on the final lap, final corner? He took it. He was in P4. He nipped the podium right at the end. Well done.
Oh, nice.
Jim was flying.
Well done. Yeah, that was a pretty tricky RPM combo, Roy.
Hell yeah.
Really? I haven't noticed yet.
I did.
Yeah, well, I actually looked back at our previous rounds, and we actually had rain or changing conditions or day-night transition in every single event that we put forward. So we might change that for next year, maybe not. We'll see.
I like it. It mixes things up, the rain, you know. Keeps everyone on their toes.
Well, yeah, with this combo, you basically had a couple strategy options, and
Yeah.
starting on slicks for me wasn't one of them, unfortunately.
Me
But
neither.
yeah, I made a mistake. So, and yeah, depending on when the weather would transition and how the track would change conditions, it would basically determine what would be the right strategy. We did 2 full race practice races with the
Yeah.
team, and we got different outcomes every time. So yeah, it made it interesting.
Spicy.
Yeah, the fuel for the race seemed like I had loads of fuel left over as well. Like, so yeah.
Well done to everyone, I reckon, for finishing, because it certainly looked tough. I'm glad I wasn't
How did
driving
you get
that
on,
one.
Rob?
I come
Yeah,
11th, mate.
okay.
I had hell of a race, mate.
I
all
got
over the
P12.
I was
Yeah, I
ice
had a
dancing at
couple
one
of
point, mate, spinning around everywhere.
You
I
get
think
extra points for 360s, bro.
Yeah, I'll spend 25 seconds on the grass just for giggles, mate. Just seeing the crowd going round and round and round. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
One hand out the window. Woo!
Thank
Yeah, a few
you,
people-
Cueto. Thank you, Quado, for your broadcast again. And
Definitely.
in 2 weeks' time, we'll have the final round in the championship, and we're gonna take the LMP2 Gen 2 to Sebring. That's a combo KCSR has put forward. So
Oh, brilliant.
looking forward to that one as well.
Final round. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be good.
And me.
All right, I'm going to end up the stream here, but thanks for joining, guys, for some chats at the end.
You're welcome.
Good night, fellas.
See you
Good
all later.
night.
Well done, guys.
Good night.
Bye bye.